Tonight's Chabura is dedicated to Lili Nishmas, Abe's father, Rafal ben Avram. So we start a brand new Mishnah, brand new parak, and it begins Dinim Amin Espeshleisha, Zebor lo echad v'Zebor lo echad. So it's a very vague Mishnah, and the Gemara is gonna try to clarify what the Mishnah is talking about. So you have someone choosing one, and it's not clear who that someone is and what's the one that he's choosing. That's something that's going to be clarified in the Mishnah. Basically, we're setting up a bezdin in some way, shape, or form by people choosing. V'shnein boron lo od echad. Divrei v'meir. So you have one guy chooses one, another guy chooses another, and they both choose a third. Okay? That might mean each one choosing a bezdin of three, or it might mean each one choosing a dayan to ultimately equal one bezdin, as we're going to see as the Gemara progresses. Chachamim no. Chachamim say you got it wrong, not in the fact that zebor lo echad v'zebor lo echad. That's true. But Chachamim say shnei dayanin boron lo echad. So we have a machlekes tanoim. If the third echad, which we're not sure if that means a bezdin or a dayan to make a bezdin of three, Chachamim say that third one does not comprise of the two balei dinim that getting together, but rather it's the two dayanim collaborating and choosing the third, whatever the third means. Again, not being clear yet in the Gemara.
How do you explain it being Batei in the Chachamim?
What do you mean? Those two Batei Dinim. Shtei Dayanim.
Sounds like it's
Right. How would that? All right, we'll see in the Gemara. The Gemara is going to talk about. Okay, so maybe you're right. In Chachamim, that wouldn't be. But the Gemara is going to reject it in a second from the Echad. You're true. It's true. In Rabbi Meir, it works better. Fine. Let's see what the Gemara says. Yeah. Then the Gemara says, "Zeh posel dayanu shel zeh, v'zeh posel dayanu shel zeh." Again, you have the same question of dayanu, right? In the Havamina of the Gemara, dayanu also can mean one dayan. Can mean many dayanim, because each one is canceling each other out. So I assume it would mean in that Havamina, the bezdin are.
Gemara says later on though that the sake of the Mishnah eight dov.
Yeah, that's right. The Gemara. The Gemara is medayek by eight dov, but the Gemara. I don't think the Gemara. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think the Gemara makes the diak of dayanim. So what he was asking was how do you say dayanin as referring to a whole batei dinim? But I don't think the Gemara picks up on that. But we'll see. So the Gemara, I think, assumes in the Havamina that could even be three. But we'll see that's going to be rejected in a second. The Chachamim oimrim. So Rabbi Meir holds they passel each other out, and then you're left with the ultimately the dayanim that you're left with. The Gemara says no. So the Chachamim say emasai bizman shemevi alein raya shein kroivin oy psulim. You can't just invalidate people. You can't invalidate dayanim. If you want to invalidate, so you have to have a raya that they're a karov, that they're a apostle. Avam hayu kshein or mumchim in pivezdin. But if they're a kshein or they were mumchin, and yachol apostle, so then you can't. So that's Chacham say that's not going to fly. Then the Gemara goes on, shifts to the din of edim, not making a bezdin. Zeh posel edav shel zeh, v'zeh posel edav shel zeh. Each litigant has the ability to passel each other's edim divrei mer. Chacham no. Chacham say once again, even by edim, emasai, when could you passel edim? When can you invalidate edim? Bizman shemevi and leim raya shein kroivin oy psulim. Al mayuk sheim eina yachol apostle. But if they're kosher, you don't have the ability to passel. Right. Fine. So again, we didn't clarify what the Mishnah is speaking about, if it's 9 total or 3 total, but that's the original Mishnah, and now the Gemara is going to clarify. Something to keep in mind, a kasha, that the Chedushei Aran asked at the beginning of the parak. The first line of the Mishnah, Dinim Amin Espeshleisha, right? We know that already. Why are you telling me Dinim Amin Espeshleisha? So the Ran says, because we had a little bit of a break. We were talking about a lot of different inyanim in the second parak. It was geschmack, but kind of got a little bit sidetracked. And we got to link things back, which is really true. We're getting back to the nitty-gritties of what Dinei Torah is all about. A lot of Choshen Mishpat and Hilchos Dayanim comes from our parak, which is a different style limud, and it connects to the Yisodos of the first parak, and that's just like it's like a fishing rod. We're gonna wheel it back into Dinim Amish. The Bach is a different pshat. The Bach thinks that it's when you want to do a Dinim Amish B'Shleisha as opposed to a pshara, so then this is the way you do it through Zobar La'echad, but it's coming la'afuke, a group of people, litigants that said, let's do a pshara, then you wouldn't need to choose a third dayan and do it in this exact manner. Rav Soloveitchik had a totally different mahalach, and I'd like to just preface that what his mahalach is before we read the Gemara, and once we read the Gemara, I'll be able to introduce his mahalach, which was a fascinating mahalach. So listen to the Gemara. So the Gemara says, "My zebar lo echad v'zebar lo echad." What does the Gemara even mean? Like we said, it's such a vague statement. This chooses one, this chooses one. Bitlasa sagi, which means Rashi learns that the Gemara was assuming that that each one would choose a bezdin, and then you would end up with how many people? You would end up with 9. So the Gemara says, I don't understand. That's ridiculous. You just need 3 dayanim. Why? You just said dinim amenes b'shlosha. So the Gemara says, hachikamar. No. Kish zebar lo bezdin echad. V'zebar lo bezdin echad. Shnein barlon od echad. When this bezdin, when this guy chooses his bezdin, and this guy chooses his bezdin, so both of them come together and choose a third bezdin. Rashi. Let's see what Rashi says. Hachchamer. K'shezeh bar lo bezdin echad, v'zeh bar lo bezdin echad, v'chol echad posel bezdin shabir chaveiro, and each one cancels each other out. Ve'eno rotza lidun mefanov, and he doesn't like the other litigants bezdin. So then what do? Then they have to come together. Shnein bar lo echad. Either according to Reb Meir means shneim the balei dinim, or according to Rabbanon, shneim means the shnei dayan. So ask the Gemara Kasha. Va'afilu loiva motzi ma'akiv. Says the Gemara, a lot of dinei Torah, of dinei mamanis, is going to be a loiva and a malva. It's going to be a lender and a borrower. So the Gemara is assuming that litigants have the right to choose which bezdin they want to go to. So Gemara says, "Va'afilu loive," even the loive, motzi ma'akiv. Va'amar Rav Lazar loishanu ela milve avaloive kofin oso v'dan ve'iro. So the Gemara says it can't be because Rav Lazar, which the Gemara quotes later on in Lamed Aleph and Beis, Rav Lazar holds that there's a concept in halacha. There's a concept in halacha of eved loive leish malve. There's a ke'en and avdus. That there's a shibud, that you did me a taiva, that you lent to me. So now I am subservient. I am subordinate to you. The Gemara says at the bottom of Lamed Aleph and Beis, right before the parak ends, the Gemara says that he is forced to go to the place that the malva wants to because the malva has the upper hand. So what's the Gemara's kasha? So Gemara's kasha is, how can the Gemara assume that both litigants have a right to choose a dayan that seems to go against Rabbi Lazar's klal of Eved Loiv Yishmal? So the Gemara says, let's see Rashi, Loishanu, Echad Oimer Nidoin Kan, Ve'echad Oimer Neilech Lebeis Havad. Koifen Oisev Ahoilech Lebeis Havad. So Rashi is very interesting. Rashi quotes a specific case. Rashi says that there was something called the Beis Havad, which let's say was like the central court. The central courthouse. So the Malva says, the Leiva says, let's go to the Bezdin right here. The Malva says, no, I want to go to the Beis Havad. So Rashi says, then we would go with the Malva and ignore the Leiva. What happens in another situation? What happens in a situation where Where the Malva says, no, I want to go to another Bezdin. And it's not the Beis Havad. It's not like the courthouse. But it's bigger Talmidei Chacham. What's the din then? Would the Malva also have the upper hand in such a situation? Or not? Or maybe no. Specifically, Rashi meant when he says, I want to go to the main courthouse. But if it's not the main courthouse, if it's just some reason why these other Dayanim are better, then you're not allowed to go. Then the Malva doesn't have the upper hand.
Well, they have to go all the way up.
Oh, so why would you have to go all the way up? So the reason why I was medayik in this Rashi of Beis Havad, I wouldn't make this diak. But if you look at the Ran in the beginning of this perek on this machlekes, on this issue of Eved Loiv Malve, the Rabbeinu David, he quotes from the Rabbeinu David that this idea of the Malva winning is specifically by the Beis Havad, by the Iker courthouse. But if the Malva just has a taina that my Dayanim are bigger Talmidei Chachamim than yours, but they're not the Beis Havad, says the Rabbeinu David, then you go back to Zabla. This is, by the way, that's the way to refer to our Mishnah, Zabla. Zebor lo echad v'zebor lo echad. In Sfarim, it's called Zabla. It's a Zabla Bezdin, and that's the jargon of Dayanim now. You can go through a Zabla type of Bezdin, which is mean we choose each, and then there's a third litigant that's chosen by both of those Dayanim. So Rabbeinu David is holding, even if there's a svara. What's the svara? Everyone agrees that those other people are chachamim, and it's known. Those other dayanim that the Malva is saying are greater chachamim. Says the Rabbeinu David, no. If it's not the Beis Havad, then we go back to Zabla. Says the Ramban against the Rabbeinu David, as quoted by the Ran in the beginning of the perek, no. It's lav dafka Beis Havad. It's lav dafka Beis Havad. It's any time that what? That there is some svara to say that his bezdin is better, then we apply the din of Eved Loiv Ishmael, then he wins. And Zabla, says the Ramban, listen carefully, this is very yesodistic, says the Ramban, Zabla, this idea of the Mishnah that we choose each our litigants and we treat everyone equal is only when we're exactly on equal footing. That our Batei Dinim are exactly parallel. That's what the Ramban says at the beginning of the perek. Comes along Rav Soloveitchik and asks, what is the Nekudis HaMachloikes between the Ramban and the Rabbeinu David? Why is it that the Ramban says what? That, no, even if it's a little svara, a little bit of a better Talmid Chacham, we don't go with the Zabla, we go with the mile of the Malveh. And whereas Rabbeinu David says, no, it's only Beis Havad and everything else we go with Zabla, says Rav Soloveitchik something fascinating. He says, there's two ways to learn our perek, which really gets to the first question that I asked. Let's look at the first Mishnah. Dinim amanis b'shloisha, zebor lo echad v'zebor lo echad. Why, once again, did the Mishnah introduce our perek with Dinei Mamanis B'Shleisha? Said Rav Soloveitchik, b'shem the Rabbeinu David, and he thought this was Pashup Shat in the Rambam, the way he brings down our Mishnah, that the Rambam says, Kedei sheyetze hadin la'amito, the optimal bezdin that there is with the derech of the third perek of Zabla. Means if you would ask the Rambam, and you would ask the Rabbeinu David, we have to try in any way, shape, or fashion that we can get to the situation of Zabla. Which means I chose one, you chose the other, and either the two of them chose the third, or we ourselves chose the third. That's the machlokes of Meir Chachamim. But the Mishnah is now going back. It's Gevaldik, his diak in the Mishnah. You want to know why the Mishnah repeated the phrase Dinim Amanis B'Shleisha? Because now we're going to teach you the best way to get to Dinim Amanis B'Shleisha. The most optimal way to get to Dinim Amanis B'Shleisha, that we even would rather, even if the Malva has a svara of a bigger Talmid Chacham, doesn't matter, Zabla is primary. You have a Beis Havad, fine. We can't argue with the Beis Havad. But everything except for Beis Havad, Zabla is the best way. That's the way that the Gemara is going to say, Kedei sheyetze adin la'amito. Whereas the Ramban is saying no. The Ramban is just saying, when we're stuck, when we don't have a way to agree, we can't figure out a bezdin, so the Mishnah says, the Mishnah is mechadish to us in the third parak, there's a new way that you can try to resolve your battles. What is that new way? That new way is through choosing the Bezdin like this. But according to the Ramban, Soloveitchik Tainad, this is the old Batei Dinim. This is just a new derech to get to what? The original perek. It's just now it's through choosing, and now hopefully we'll be able to quiet down and ease the tension of the Batei Dinim. And this is also a kosher Bezdin. But not that the Mishnah was being mechadish to me that this is the optimal way. No, the Ramban was just saying, if there are no other svaras of how to choose a Bezdin, so then choose this. This is also emestik. This is also mutter. This is also kosher. But says the Ramban, if you have any svara not to go like this, even if it's not a Beis Avad, if it's a Talmud Chacham, so then go with that svara. Then we don't have to resolve the battles like this. We can resolve the battles with that svara. The Ramban's saying that it's not an ikr nakuda in the optimal way of setting up a Bezdin. Yeah.
First time, everyone's going to be happy. No one's going to say, oh, shuckle. No one's going to say, oh, there's favoritism because everyone's all in. The second one, you're getting more objective.
Excellent. So that's perfect. So listen to what Eitan's saying. I think mamish what Eitan's saying is two ways to learn the next Gemara. Let's see the Gemara. So Gemara, Fertakashe, really? All the litigants have a say over here? What happened to the klal of Evid all over? Vafilu loiva matzim akiv. V'amar Rab Elazar loishana lamalva v'loiva koifin oisav adon be'iro. So the Gemara says, no, you're right. The Gemara says we're talking about a situation where it's what? Where it's our kol shebesurya, and therefore that's not going to be a situation where the malva has an upper hand. So therefore, it's not that. Therefore, it doesn't. It's not. Our Mishnah is not against the klal of Rabbi Elazar of a malva saying, "I want to go up to the Beis Avad," at least according to Rashi and Rabbeinu David. Because we were talking about a case where it was dayanim that were not so experts, that were not such talmidei chachamim. They were our kol shebesurya. They were a lower level batei dinim that the malva wanted to go there, and the loiva says, "No, I don't want to go there. It's not such great dayanim." But obviously, the malva wasn't saying, "Let's go up to the Beis Havad," and therefore, it's not against the klal of Rebbe Elazar. Fine. Bar kol shebesurya. Aval mumchen loy. But if it was mumchen, no. Which, by the way, so now, according to the Ramban, it doesn't even have to be mumchen. It could just be dayanim l'chora. It should be even dayanim that are more talmidei chacham, because any svara is going to tip the scales according to the Ramban. So the Gemara says, fine. So then the Gemara says, Rav Papa gives a different answer. Filu tema mumchen. No, we're even talking about a machlokes between the litigants about mumchin, but what? The Gemara is talking about where they're in the same town. Rashi says tarayu b'chad makom. So in a situation where both batei dinim are in the same town, so then he says, "I'm not making you be matriach." So then, in such a situation, he has the ability to respond and to say and to be ma'akiv because he's not being matriach the malve. So then the Mishnah goes on to the Gemara goes on to say, "V'chachamim omrim shnei dayanim boren lo erech." The litigants are not the ones who choose the third dayan, but rather the dayanim that were chosen are the ones to choose that third dayan. V'salka dayta kedamrin on bezdin. So the Gemara asks Akasha, what? If you're learning like we learned in the Havamina, there was 3 and 3 that get canceled out, and then we're left with the last 3. So who's choosing the last 3? Who's choosing the last 3 according to Rabbanon? The Dayanim. So the Gemara says, that's strange. You just pasul Dayanim, and now those are your representatives to choose who the third set of Dayanim are, the Bezdin is. Basar de pasle lehu azlu barle bedina achrina. After you invalidated these dayanim, those are going to be the ones who are going to decide. They're invalid. So why should they even have the choice of who's kosher? They're just going to get other psulim that they hang out with. The Gemara says, so that's a pella. So the Gemara says, V'oid, my zeh borer lo echad, v'zeh borer lo echad. Also says the Gemara, why is it echad, but rather it should be, what should it be? Meaning, the Gemara is asking, My ze bar lo echad. Because the way the Gemara, again, the Gemara starts off, Hachikamer. Kish ze bar lo echad v'ze bar lo echad. It sounds like what? It sounds like, oh, in a situation where what? The Gemara's original answer is, when they invalidated each other, so then these two groups are now going to choose a third bezdin. So the Gemara says, Rashi says, Va'od, my ze bar lo echad v'ze bar lo echad. It sounds like what? It sounds like that's the din. It sounds like that's not in post facto in a b'di'evet situation where they passled each other, that's when we get a third. It sounds like, no, this is the protocol. This is taka the protocol, zu adin. So according to your pshat of the Hachikamar of the original Gemara, when it's kashezeh posel azeh, that doesn't sound like what the Mishnah says. So the Gemara says, you're right. Ela Hachikamar. So now you have a little bit of a girsa issue. Listen to what the Gemara says. Ela Hachikamar. Kishezeh bar lo dayan echad v'zeh bar lo dayan echad. So we switch from Batei Dinim. When this guy chooses one dayan, and this guy chooses another dayan. So what do we just leave? No one's passing anyone. I choose one, and you choose the other, and now machlekes Reb Meir Chachamim, if the dayanim choose the third, which are not psulei dayanim, they're good dayanim, valid dayanim, or the balei dinim themselves choose the third. So now, first of all, we just resolved the last question. It makes sense, that's a din. And also, it makes sense what? That they're not having invalid dayanim that are choosing other people because they're still valid. But it seems like there's a girsa issue over here. I don't want to give a whole shir on a girsa issue on a bach, but it's fascinating in light of what Rav Soloveitchik just was mechadish. What would the Gemara just say? How to read the Mishnah? Elahachi kamar. Kishezeh bar lo dayan echad v'zeh bar lo dayan echad shneim bar lo echad. What does the bach take out? Anyone see? What? Kisheh. What's the nafkamina of kisheh or zeh? Marsha also takes it out. He says the girsa is really zeh. Rabbi say. Again, what did Rav Soloveitchik say? Achloikis Rishayim, if our Mishnah is the optimal bezdin, is that the best way? Or is it that no, in a situation where there's a machloikis, so this is a way to resolve as well. Machlokes Rabbeinu David and the Ramban. What?
I was just going to ask. It's almost like in this sort of scenario where you're picking one and I'm picking one. When won't there be machlokes?
Right.
It's almost like
okay.
You're choosing your lawyer.
You're right. I'm not saying you're going to enjoy this din Torah, but you'll see in a second why the Gemara says that this is good. It's a fascinating statement of Rashi, but we'll get there in a second. But you're right. It's probably going to be a little dirty. But Rabbi say that's exactly the two gersos. If you have the girsa of kisheh, like we have the girsa, so we're talking about a situation. This is a matzav. The only way for us to get the things rolling, like Eitan's saying, these guys are they're so beroigas with each other, and I gotta choose my dayan, okay, this also works. This is also good. He'll choose his dayan, he'll choose that dayan, and in some way they'll get machlokes chacham and rabbanan, how they get to kisheh zeh bar lo echad. This is also kosher. Not only what we said in the first Mishnah, this is also kosher. Or no. If you're learning like the Rabbeinu David, like Rav Soloveitchik's prat in the Rambam and the Rabbeinu David, that it's optimal, so then what two letters are you going to take out? Kisheh. Rather, you're going to read the Mishnah. Zeh! This is the ideal. This is the tachlis. This is the best. This is the best way to be yoytze adin la'amitai. As we're going to see in a second. Hachi kamar. Either kisheh zeh or zeh, which is a girsa that might be a major machlokes rishonim. V'zeh bar lo dayan echad, shneim bar lo echad. Maishna da'avdi hachi. So, frak the Gemara kasha, why do we do this? So now, Amrei b'ma'arava mishmei de Rab Zira. So they say in Yerushalayim, in the name of Rab Zira, mitoch shezeh bar lo dayan echad, v'zeh bar lo dayan echad, v'shnein bar lo od echad, yatsa hadin la'amitai. So this is what you were saying, Eitan. Listen to what Rashi says. Because this guy's choosing one, and this guy's choosing one, and either both of the guys that they chose are choosing the third, or we ourselves collaborate and choose the third, Yotza hadin la'amito. Now, I ask you, what does that mean, Yotza hadin la'amito? Is that like the Ramban that's saying, oh, by the way, it's not puzzle. This is also going to be an emestik bezdin? But the chiddush of the Gemara is telling you that don't think that that the only way is like we had in the first parak, but this is also an option if you get stuck? Or no, Yotza Adin La'amito is telling you like what Eitan was saying. Adarabba, these guys are involved. These guys, this is going to be the best type of bezdin, and they're going to rely on the bezdin because they know these are the guys that they chose. So listen to the Lashon of Rashi. Yotza din la'amitoy. The tzaisei balei dinim, that the balei dinim are now going to actually listen. It's one thing to have a din Torah. It's another thing to get the balei dinim to listen to the psak. The tzaisei balei dinim, the savar achayev, harei ani ba'atzmi birarti ha'echad. I myself chose him. V'im ha'yochel lahapich b'schusi. And if he was able to turn over the world to merit me, v'im ha'yochel lahapich b'schusi, he would have done it, because I chose him. He's my man. And the dayanim also, it's not only by the litigants that'll listen, it's also by virtue of the dayanim, that the dayanim themselves are going to do whatever it takes to help their balei dinim, because they were chosen by their balei dinim. Does this Rashi sound bad? We're just sitting at a chasana next to Rabbi Rabbeinu. We were schmoozing, and he was asking what we're learning in the shul. So I said we're starting the third paragraph. So he says, I don't know what that Rashi is talking about. This is the Rashi he was referring to. What that Rashi is saying. Rabbi Yisai, the title of tonight's shir is the source for corrupt Batei Dinim. How corrupt does this sound?
You can't just say it's paranoia. That, I know he's not going to be okay, but I know that he can't possibly swing the basin because at least I have a guy who's going to be there that I chose that I feel good about.
So what about the second half of Rashi? I know that this Dayan is going to do whatever it takes for me to win.
That's what I was getting at before. It just seems...
It seems...
But beyond that, it almost seems to trump, or it almost seems to totally disregard the whole idea.
It's okay, you could say Trump.
It disregards the whole idea of Bezdin to be that Dinim was Shlosha to begin with, just because of the fact that if you know that one Dayan is automatically going to be in my court, and the other Dayan is automatically in the other court, why even have three Dayanim? Just come together to get one.
Well, you'll never resolve your issue. You need a achra.
But if you have to come together and figure out the single...
But the Chacham say that they're picking the two.
Two, right.
I think there's another way to read this. Rashi, is that it looks like, or you can actually read it, that the Atash Dayanim Teh Nocha because they chose the third one.
Right. So what does that mean? They're going to do whatever it takes to...
No. So I think it says that they would feel good
obliged.
Enough, even though I don't think it's the obliging. You know,
so let's say, so good. Chas v'shalom is it obliged. But Rabbi say we got to see the rush. Turn to the rush. The second half of the Rashi? That's what they're at. The Dayanim. The Toanim? No. That's even a Machlekes Rishonim if that's even mutter. It's a Machlekes Rishonim at the beginning of Cheskes Habatim. But it's no. In this sugya, we're not referring to Toyanim. We're talking about Dayanim here. Yeah. But I agree with you that Toyanim are usually doing that. It's a problem. Whatever. Rabbi say, let's see the rush. This is why I look at the way the rush presented. It's a fascinating rush. It's in Siman Beis.
Could Rashi be saying the psychology of the litigants?
Rashi's saying the psychology of the litigants, but then he says also the Dayanim. He says two things. Look at the end of Rashi. That's what I'm more bothered. I'm fine with the psychology of the litigants. That's what Eitan was saying. I was involved, so I'm going to listen. But then Rashi says what? I owe him. This guy chose me, gave me a job. I owe this guy. Zok the Rush in Siman Beis. Mipnei sheyesh chaserei das. Rabbi say, publicize this rush. There are those that are lacking das. Toyin b'divrei Rashi. They make a huge mistake with Rashi's statement in this Gemara. V'loimdim v'lemeidim imenu, and they learn from this. Sha'adayin yesh loy lahapich b'schus oisei shebirer v'oimei b'mkoimai l'chapos b'dvorim asher loy kedin. And people learn this Rashi and they think that the Dayan should now try to do things that are not Kedin and not emistic because they owe one to the guy who chose them. V'nogu kama anoshim livor lehem bal tachboiles v'nislim b'divrei Rashi shemashba sheyesh lahapich b'schuso. And the Rosh apparently met some rabbis that said that the Dayanim are allowed to do whatever it takes. Even if it takes force or it takes whatever it takes, you are allowed to do this, and even if it's sheker. V'chalila v'chas loy diktiku b'dvarav shekosav d'savre harei ani birarti. Ki hu sover kein sheyapoch b'schuso yoser mi b'schus ha'acher mitoch zeh tzayis l'dineim. He's going to focus more on this guy more than the other one, but everything's going to be emistic. Aval adayin atzmo chalila lo limtzo svara l'schuso. He can't come up with a new svara yesh me'ayin to merit him. Im lo sheyero lo din gomer aval im hoy yochel lahatos es chaver lekabel svaraso. If he does any tricking, it's usher. He just focuses and dwells into it, but everything has to be al PMS. But says the Rosh, this caused a major problem of corruption already in his day, and ad kedei kach there were some dayanim that said, even if you want to go with Rav Soloveitchik's pshat, Zabla is out because people messed up what Zabla meant, and they were toya from what Rashi's statement was in terms of Zabla. But according to most poskim, Zabla is definitely an option, and it's even used today. This din of Zabla, we happen to paskin like the Chachamim that the two dayanim are the ones who choose the third dayan. However, there is a statement in the Ramah in Siman Yud Gimel that the Ramah paskins that this is all true unless there was a bezdin hakavua. If there's a bezdin hakavua, then that eradicates the din of Zabla, and the litigants have to go to the bezdin hakavua, and that eradicates Zabla. So, if that's the case, it sounds like there was above and beyond the Mishnah, there was a takana made that the Ramah quotes from the Rishonim that when they have a bezdin hakavua, that you go to the Bezdin HaKavua, and even though the Mishnah says Zabla is fine, we don't do that anymore. So, Rav Moshe, in his Truvis, in Siman Gimel, talks about something that I want to talk about in a second. But in the end of the Tshuva, V'hoda kosav haramah, dim dayanim kvuim be'ir. They're dayanim, they're set dayanim in the ear. Lo yachol lomer lo edin lefneim ele b'zeh borer b'zabla. I'm only going to do a Zabla. Zerak ba'ayoro shebninosenu shaya mismanim me'a'ir. It's only appointees that were appointed from the city. Sha'af harav ha'av bezdin levade nama ha'yolach lekofo me'achar shekiblu. Says the Rav Moshe, but that was in the times where there were appointees of the city. Ava, listen to what Rav Moshe said. In New York, leko dayonim kvuim shenismanu me'a'ir ubefrat she'ika oid agudos v'chaburos sherabonim sheleka af minoi mikol harabonim shebe'ir v'lachein kisheroitze echad mehem bezabla muchrochen lebach bezabla dafka. Says Rav Moshe halach l'maisa, what the Ramah says that Zabla stops and the Mishnah's din doesn't apply because we have bezdin hakavua shebe'ir. Says Rav Moshe that's not practical in America. The Brooklyn, the Aguda has their Batei Dinim, the RCA has their Batei Dinim. There's no one bezdin for New York in our door or New Jersey for our door. And if a litigant wants to go through Zablas, they're allowed to go through Zablas. We are not limited anymore from a bezdin for Be'ir. I'm not sure that's the minig. I have to check in there because there's a Shevet Alevi that I think does not agree and thinks that the Ramaz in Eretz Yisrael, that the Ramaz Psak might be Nogea. But however you slice it, according to Rav Moshe in America, the din of Zabla is still applicable, and these are all halacha l'maisa. Possibly, according to Rav Soloveitchik, might even be ideal according to some Rishonim. Now, Rabbi say there is a major problem with the whole premise of our whole discussion and this brand new topic of the way to get to this new bezdin, whether or not it's ideal or just an option, like the Ramban said. However you slice it, Zabla is on the table, and Rabbi Moshe even said that it's Lamaisa, Halach Lamaisa, even Bizman Hazeh. We learned in the Gemara and Daf Hey that there is a din that a dayan mumche, don afilu yechidi, and he could be koife you to come to court. So if he's a mumche l'rabim, even if he's one dayan, and the Gemara says he can force you to come to court, so then what? So then our whole parak doesn't make any sense. What do you mean you could choose the dayan, he could choose the dayan? If I get a dayan that's a mumche, he could force you to come to court against your will. How do you now start choosing? So the Taisus is saying that the Gemara earlier, it seems to contradict our whole parak. Let's see the Taisus, 1 second. Taisus dira masla dana fili yechidi, mumchel ram dana fili yechidi, and then Taisus says v'yachol lachuf es ha'adam bal karcho, and he could force the guy against his will to come to court, right? So now just skip to the end of Taisus, second 2 lines from the end of the Taisus. V'hadisnan lekamon daf chaf gimel med aleph, our Mishnah, zebor lo of echad v'zebor lo echad, mashma de bidaita in bal karcho lo. Sounds like the only way you can come to court is if I choose you to be a dayan, and I was involved, but there is no din of Bal Karchel. So Taisus is asking our kasha, there seems to be a stira between the Gemara over here in Daf Hey and the Gemara and Sanhedrin Chav Gimel. Says Taisus, no. Hani mili, there's 2 ways for a person to not accept and to reject. Hani mili kisha oimer lo yadin lefnei zeh el lefnei zeh. Avalim Amr Shelo Yavel Bezdin Klal, Oim Havaloive Ve'enu Rotzalodin Klal Be'iro, Kofinoso Vedanoso Balkarcho. Taisus says very simple. There could be a situation where a guy says, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm not coming to any Batei Dinim. You're totally off. That was the Gemara on Daf Hey. Guy rejects like that, so then we'll force him to come to court, and he can come against his will. But if a guy says, no, I'm willing to come to court, I just don't like your dayanim, and I want to be involved in the process, and I want to choose dayanim, but I want to be some of them that I accept, so that's our Gemara, but that's something that's very important before we actually learn this parak. So that's how you jive the 2 Gemaras. So let's go weiter. Fine. Says the Gemara, Chachamim Maimrim that it's not the Balei Dinim, but rather it's the Dayanim themselves that have to be involved in the process to choose the 3rd dayan. Name of Rav Yehuda Marav Kamiflagi. So let's suggest that Rav Yehuda Marav, that this machlokes Chachamim or Meir, who's choosing the 3rd dayan? Is it the Balei Dinim, or is it the Dayanim? Is totally on a statement of Rav Yehuda Marav. What was the statement of Rav Yehuda Marav? Damar Rav Yehuda Marav, Eina Edim Choismen al Ashtar, Elim Ken Yoidin Mi Choisen Imayim. You have to know, in general, it's kedai to know whenever you're asked to be a witness, to be an aid, you have to know something about the other person that you're either signing with or you're being made at a chasanoi with, you're being mitzaref as an aid with. Right? So Rabbi Yehuda Marav says, find out. Rabbi Meir, Leslie, Rabbi Yehuda Marav. So Rabbi Meir says, it's not important. The dayanim don't have to be involved in the process. So obviously Rabbi Meir holds that that's not crucial. And Rabbanan Isli, Rabbi Yehuda Marav. And Rabbanan hold, no, that is crucial, and therefore the dayanim have to be involved in the process, because whoever I need to know what type of group I'm getting involved with. So let's see Rashi over here. Elim ken yoidim mi choisen imayim. That was the statement of Yehuda Marav, right? Why? What's the problem? Why do you have to know who the other aid is? Shema yichtemu imahim eid echad pasel, umevatel eidas kulam. V'nimtzu elu boishim. What does Rashi say? What's going to happen? You're going to sign with this other aid, and it's going to be nimtza echad me'em karvu pasel. And the halacha is, we learn nimtza echad me'em karvu pasel. One of the aidim being pasel throws out the whole group of aidas, even if it's more than 2 people. We learned even if there are 5 aidim, the whole kat is thrown out. It's not acceptable aidas. It's an embarrassing experience. So what? The Gemara suggests, Rabbanan, Savre, Isli der Rabbi Yehuda Marav. Helkach, let's see the next Rashi. Das ha-dayanim b'yin, and therefore you need the dayanim to be involved in the process of who's going to be the third dayan. Why? Sheyivru mi yeshiv emahem adam hagun. Sheyivru adam hagun. Why did Rashi change adam hagun? Sounds like over here that it's not a din that it's going to be puzzle. The shaila is over here. The chashash of Rabbi Yehuda Marav, the nimtza echamim karvo puzzle. Is that the same halacha that's going to apply to dayanim? Is that the same exact chash, or we're just borrowing from a case of edus that in a case of edus where if one guy's puzzle, everyone's going to be puzzle. So also whenever you get involved in a group, you should be involved with good guys. What I'm asking is it is the psak the psak is batal because technically we don't have three dayanim, but is the do they become puzzle dayanim when you have one dayan that's puzzle? Do you say the same halacha of nimtza echem yem karvo puzzle by edus is the same halacha to dayanis as well? Or do you say, no, whoever's puzzle can walk away, but the rest of the dayanim were kosher dayanim? We had that earlier. Excellent. Where did we have that earlier? We had it, it's a suffix in the Mishnah Melech. We had it, Mishnah Melech assumes that whatever you say by edus, you say by dayanis. And the Ktosei Choshen said, not true. It's only by a group of edim. You don't say it by a dayan. What the Ktosei Choshen said, I'll bring you a raya from a Gemara. Where's the Gemara? The Gemara is on Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. The Gemara on Daf Gimel Amud Aleph says what? That Rav Acha B'Reder Rav Ika says you should get 3 people on the Bezdin, even though what? Really it's sufficient to have with one. B'tzedek tishbar amisecha. The Gemara, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lines down. Really, 9 lines down. Really, midaraisa, you only need one dayan for dinei mamonos. Shenamar, as the pasuk says, "B'tzedek tishbar amisecha," singular lashon. Elimishum yoshei kronos. So rather, it's because they're going to be a yoshei kronos. So we don't want a person who's doesn't know the halachos. So therefore, ata b'tlusa milo haba yoshei kronos. Yefshir delesbu chad degamer. So the Gemara says, what? 3, you're not going to have yoshei kronos. So the Gemara says, no. If you have 3 dayanim, so then one of them is going to be a qualified dayan. So that's like Ktosei Choshen. But if the other 2 guys are not qualified, so it should disqualify even the 3rd dayan. So it's nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle. Says the Ktosei Choshen, a raya from this Gemara, you don't say nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle by dayanim. That was his raya against the Mishnah. Now, at B'shaita, we had a lot of problems with this Ktosei Choshen. We had a Chedusha Meir Simcha that said it's not a good raya because there's no tziruf over here. Because again, why is there no tziruf over here? We're working within who? Rav Acha B'Reder Rav Ika, who holds only you need is 1. So if you have the ability to get 1, so then that's where you don't have nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle. It's not a good comparison to edus where you actually need a group, and that's where you're going to say nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle. But lamaisa on the books, you're right. When we dealt with it, we had a few ways of learning this Gemara to deal with the Ktosei's diak, but that's the way the Ktsos came out, and we thought that it was a machlokes rishonim and Yevamis on Daf Kuf Dalid. But lamaisa, that might be the Nakudas, there might be rishonim over here, depending on what your chashash is in the application of Rav Yehuda Marav to dayanim, because Rav Yehuda Marav was talking about edim. Now we're applying it to dayanim. If you're saying that it's the exact same comparison, like Rashi said by Edus, that it's nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle, so then you would say nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle also by dayanim. But if you say like Rashi actually doesn't say, he says nothing about nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle when it comes to the case of dayanim. So perhaps that could be because no, by dayanim it just meant don't hang out with an adam she'eino hagen. Not because post facto, that's going to be nimtzeh echem yem karva puzzle, because that klal doesn't necessarily exist when it comes to dayanim, but rather that over here it's just it's adam she'eino hagun but you wouldn't have the problem of nimtza echad mehem karvu pasel. So then the Gemara says, lo, really everyone, d'chuli ama islu de Rav Yehuda Merav. Everyone agrees to Rav Yehuda Merav, and that you should know who you're getting involved with and who you're grouping up with. Again, whether or not that means nimtza echad karvu pasel is up for debate in terms of explaining this Gemara, and the Rishonim debate that over here. V'das dayanim kuli amalo pligi debiyinon. So now the Gemara says, and rather, the knowledge and the involvement of the dayanim, everyone agrees. Bein Rabbi Meir, bein Rabbanan. So we're shifting the Mishnah. Everyone agrees that you need the dayanim's involvement. So what's the machlekes? Ki pligi das balei dinim. Rabbi Meir Sover das balei dinim nami boyin, and Rabbi Meir Sover, Rabbi Meir holds that it's not sufficient just to have the das of the dayanim. You have to also have the das of the balei dinim. Rabbanan Sover das dayanim boyinon, das balei dinim loy bayin. And Rabbanan say no, you only have the das dayanim, but you don't have the das balei dinim. It's sufficient with the das dayanim as well. And Memelo, the Gemara says, but Rabbi Yehuda Merav's statement is unanimous, and everyone would agree that you would need at least das dayanim. So the Gemara just says, let's just finish off. Gufa Amar Rabbi Yehuda Merav, the Gemara says, Eina edim chayson al ashtar, Tanya nami hachi, kachaya nikiya adash b'Yerushalayim, oisin lo yachoismin al ashtar, elim kein yoidim mi choisim imayim, v'lo yoyshim bebezdin, elim kein yoidim mi yoyshev imayim, v'lo yinechosim besuda, elim kein yoidim mi meisev imayim. So the Gemara says, bein be'edis, bein be'dayonis, and then the Gemara throws in a last halacha, that even legabe, who you eat with, that is also that you have to know who you're sitting with. We got to switch this clock. It's totally.
Distinguishing between Eid and Dayanim, and that he's more embarrassed to leave once that Dayanim is set.
What did Bach say about Eid and Dayanim? Yeah. It's in Beis. Rabbi, Sheilu baladidim borim shema lo yehagen v'lo yech hashnayim yichoyel loimer einon yoshun imzeh v'shemevayishin also. Right, it sounds like it's not a din of nimtzeh chamim karo pasel. It's just that they're going to cause a busha. Right.